r/AskReddit. Serious, schizophrenics, what is it like to have schizophrenia? I don't think it's as bad as others, but I still felt like I should share this anyway. I'm very aware that the things I hear and see aren't real, but when you hear the same thing on repeat for a long time it tends to mess with your way of thinking. The voices are hushed and whisper things that I can't make sense of, but sometimes it gets so loud that I can't focus on anything and I feel detached. I remember the first thing I started hearing was the sound of a clock ticking, which has now gotten to the point of where I'm always watching the time and trying to make sense of my surroundings to try and keep myself from having an episode. My visual hallucinations aren't as bad. I tend to see figures moving around me or small things crawling on/around me. This however has gotten better. When I was in school it would get so bad that I would end up scratching at my skin because I thought something was on me. I still get paranoid if I see something, because then I start to believe it may be real and I can't process what's happening around me. And this last one, I'm not even sure if this is part of the schizophrenia. I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm not 100% because it doesn't sound like others' experiences, but I'll still mention it. My mind will come up with people and scenarios that aren't real, but I've seen them so much I begin thinking that person is real or that something actually happened. This one still causes problems for me because I can never tell reality from fiction. I have trouble separating the two. I only noticed this when I would tell stories and people would tell me that it had never happened or that that person didn't exist. I'm just thankful that I don't have bad episodes, but I can sympathize with people who do, as I have had a few. Not sure if I'm even making sense now, but I just thought I would share. It's like a cycle of fear. Imagine your greatest fear and fearing that no matter what you do, no matter what anyone says, you know in your head and your heart that it will come to you, and it will. Now take that and imagine feeling that every single day. And even if you know it won't come, there's that itching feeling and that nerve inside that makes you feel like they're coming. I'm scared that cannibals are going to come and eat me slowly. I'm scared that doppelgangers are going to replace everyone I love with another, and in turn I check everyone to make sure it is them. I check for scars, permanent markings, any voice changes. When I was 14, I saw a tall man outside my car window in the woods. He just stood there watching me, my movement. I didn't go outside for a year. If my mom wanted me to, I would have a panic attack. I haven't opened my room curtains since then. I don't hear voice anymore, I just have creepy and disturbing thoughts that don't belong to me. And I know they don't because I hear it in a different voice. Sometimes a deep man, sometimes a perky woman's voice. I felt that I was in a world being watched, like a sitcom. I would hear a laughing track inside of my head and outside. I would say dumb things that many people will look at me for, but the laughing track will laugh. Many people don't really understand what it means, and I have been called crazy, weird and an attention seeker for being scared. It's not something I would ever wish on a person. You feel numb and emotional. You feel nothing and everything. You feel like you always have to watch your back and you always have to be alert. It just hurts a lot. My ex and the father of my daughter is schizophrenic. I still have PTSD and deal with extreme anxiety often, even though we have not been together for 5 years. We were together for 10 years, and for many years, I tried to be understanding when he had episodes, but they were mainly about me being unfaithful or people trying to hurt us. He would put the weirdest combination of things together to prove that I was cheating. For example, an old fast food receipt, a commercial on the TV, a stranger that we had encountered that day, and the window blinds being up/down could prove in his head that I was cheating. He would put them all together in an elaborate story using the dates, messages, and situations. In reality, it made zero sense, and for many years I honestly wanted to laugh and cry at the same time because it was comical that he was so out of touch with reality, but extremely disturbing. After so many years of being told people were trying to get in our home to hurt us, I began to develop drug-induced psychosis when we would party. I can no longer causally use party drugs with friends because I can't stop from going to a bad place. I've tried so many times to make it stop, but I've just learned to accept that I can't partake. I could have dealt with it better if he wasn't also extremely violent and a lot of the episodes being about me trying to hurt him. Skeptical. I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia in 2006, back when that was the specific diagnosis, rather than just schizophrenia. I was 23 at the time, and I had been seriously unwell since 17. It was triggered by smoking weed, and I lost most of my 20s to this illness. I bounced in and out of hospital for 2.5 years, refusing to believe I was ill, and refusing medication. If you add all the time end to end that I spent in there, it was about a year, 3 months of which was in the high secure ward. I escaped twice. After trying a bunch of horrific medications, I found one, Risperdal, that magically eliminated all my positive symptoms, and had very few side effects. For about 10 years I have had no delusions, hallucinations, nothing. As I understand, it's relatively rare for someone to recover as full as I have. It's dumb luck. I have a job, a circle of friends, and most people don't know that I spent the majority of my 20s severely unwell. With regards to what schizophrenia is actually like, it started with a gradual decline into crushing depression. The longer I felt like this, the more of a disconnect there was between me and the real world. I stopped understanding exactly what people went. When I became acutely unwell, I remember thinking that I was recovering, because suddenly I had lots of energy, was extremely, manically, confident and happy. I had a night where I had a splitting headache, and that was the last moment I knew I was going crazy. I tried to get myself admitted, but they just gave me Valium. I spent all day and night inside listening to the radio. I stopped showering or leaving the flat. My flatmate moved out because I assume he was scared. I couldn't understand what people were saying. I would forget the beginning of a sentence by the time you'd reached the end. I knew people were trying to tell me something important, but I didn't know what. I stopped eating, and felt cold and hot at the same time. Sometimes I would have sensations like someone had kicked me, or like bugs crawling over me. The DJs on the radio stared talking about me. They would broadcast personal information about me, and I realized the songs I'd listened to my whole life were actually about me. Horrible sarcastic songs making fun of me. Then I realized that everyone was psychic apart from me, and the world was set up, Truman Show style, to report on my comings and goings. Everyone was an actor, the world was a sham. It got worse from there. Various highlights: a shadow demon kicked me on the ass, lol, a woman turned into a wolf, I heard paramedics discuss amputating my arm. It was like a living nightmare. The world was close and painful and bizarre and terrifying. I couldn't be reasoned with or talked out of my delusions. I was unwell, psychologically incapable of believing anything else. If you defeated one belief, I would invent a new one. Medication saved my life. I'm alright these days. It's been a long time since I was acutely unwell. It seems like another life. The worst I deal with now is occasional depression, lack of motivation, and I isolate myself a bit. I'd even go so far to say I'm a little bit happy these days. I have no conclusion. It was a shit thing. It happened. I returned to normal life. I guess the thing to take away for anyone in a similar position is that you can recover. If anyone's read all this, I'm impressed. TLDR, schizophrenia is shit. 2/7. Schizophrenic myself, 30M, have had 3 acute, 1 to 2 month, periods of psychosis, with residual paranoia, beginning in 2013. Last Halloween. I believed the highest members of social hierarchies worldwide worshipped Satan and sacrificed/cannibalized people to Baphomet, Mephistopheles, etc. I believed Halloween was the reversal of the Protestant Reformation, denying Christendom, and, particularly on Halloween, these sacrifices took place. And I believed, naturally, that year I was chosen to be the sacrifice. I thought the cult of the Illuminati, people like the Bushes, Queen of England, Rothschilds, were going to assassinate me with some type of black site developed bioweapon and eat me. I also believed they had developed technology to read and influence minds, and induce choking, by manipulating energy through machine or satellite, or that witches were real and used an organ called the third eye, located in the middle of the forehead, vestigial in most humans, to do these things. I wasn't sure which one. One October night I thought I was being called into the woods near my house by them, to be judged, hopefully pardoned, and went looking for them. I was then guided to a ritual site in the deep woods by men wearing witch doctor masks making clicking noises. I live in mountainous NY and remember climbing a mountain in the forest that night, and at the top I heard a giant serpent hissing. I thought it was Satan and he was going to eat me, so I ran back down the mountain, and as I went down the sun rose. Now I spend most of my time thinking I'm on a government kill list for being a burden to the state, Alloxion T4. I have bipolar type schizoaffective disorder. Here's what a normal day is like for me. Walking into a room and suddenly have the feeling of being in a horror movie. Horrible, creepy music playing in the background. The room darkens. Goosebumps pop up all over your skin. Your heart pounds so fast, you think you might have a heart attack and die. You know they're coming. They're going to appear any minute and kill you. But you can't move. You're frozen. Minutes pass, feeling like hours. Finally, the lights go back to normal, The music stops playing, and the fear is immediately gone as reality hits you square in the face. You shake your head, shrug, and go get that cup of coffee you intended to get earlier. You're minding your own business. It's late at night and you're washing dishes. You happen to glance for a second outside. The moon suddenly becomes large, larger than the planet. You stop washing dishes. The moon becomes an eye, a big ugly eye, and it's staring at you. It's not blinking. It doesn't have eyelids. You open your mouth to scream, but then it's gone. Everything is as it was. You're talking to your best friend. You're having a good time as you both catch up on what's happening in each other's lives. Suddenly, she smiles at you and calls you a dirty, disgusting, filthy whore, and she never wants to see you again. You blink, confused. What? You scream. Your best friend looks at you, even more bewildered than you are. I didn't say anything. You walk down the street. There are a lot of people out today. Your insecurities increase with your every step. It feels like everyone is staring at you. You can hear them whispering about you. You turn to your partner that's beside you and express your desire to call the people who are talking about you out. Your partner looks at you, unsure, and says, "Babe, no one is talking about you." You're having sex with your partner. You're into it, enjoying the pleasure. Then, you hear them say, "I'm sorry," in a high-pitched little kid's voice that immediately turns you off. You chose not to say anything until after you both have finished. When you ask your partner about it, they almost fall out of the bed in shock. They didn't say that at all. You're trying to sleep and finally close your eyes for the night. As soon as you close your eyes, you see the face of a clown mere millimeters from your face. He smiles menacingly, showing his fangs. You quickly open your eyes. Nothing is there. You sigh and close your eyes again. The clown is there, so close to your face that you can see right into the fiery infernos where his pupils are supposed to be. You open your eyes again, angry that this is happening. It's only after 2 hours of trying to sleep does the clown finally disappear and you can rest. And that's only a few examples of real-life experiences I've had to deal with firsthand. This shit is no joke. All my hallucinations are fucking scary, and I envy people who have delusions of grandeur or have pleasant hallucinations, because at least theirs is enjoyable. My brain likes to make me live in a nightmare while I'm fucking awake and then give me real nightmares when I sleep. I don't really get a break from scary shit. Edit. Thank you for the platinum, kind stranger, heart.
I'd love it if you liked and subscribed.